Where do I even start? Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20, and only 31.
On Saturday, June 14th, the WNBA witnessed a seismic event that shattered an undefeated dynasty, ignited an entire league, and delivered a dose of pure, unadulterated revenge so satisfying it'll be talked about for years. This wasn't just a basketball game, it was a masterclass in vindication, a triumphant return, and a brutal reckoning for a team that thought they were untouchable. Get ready, because the story of what happened that night, with an undefeated record on the line and a legend's burning desire for payback, is about to unfold.
And just like that, she's back. Caitlin Clark drops 35 after her 5-game layoff from injury. It was at a point where she scored 9 points in less than 45 seconds. I mean, crossing the half-point line, one dribble, and just pulling it from the logo. Like, these plays are just...
Before this seismic showdown, the New York Liberty swaggered through the league like an unstoppable force of nature. Their perfect 9-0 record wasn't just impressive, it radiated an aura of invincibility, casting a long, almost arrogant shadow over every competitor. They were the undisputed queens of the court, confident and seemingly untouchable. Yet, beneath their flawless facade, a simmering storm was brewing, a specific grievance tracing back to their last intense clash with the Indiana Fever. It was a play in the dying seconds, a pivotal, heart-stopping moment where the Liberty's defensive specialist, Natasha Cloud, stripped the ball from a certain star.
Well, the Indiana Fever, I'm watching it. It just went final, 102-88 over the league undefeated, now defeated, New York Liberty. Stephanie White did not.
The star vehemently believed she had been fouled, that a game-altering whistle should have blown, a call that never came. That perceived injustice wasn't merely forgotten, it festered, a silent fire burning hotter than any spotlight, transforming a regular season matchup into a deeply personal score to settle. Adding layers to this tension, that very star had been sidelined for 5 agonizing games, nursing a quad injury, 5 grueling games of watching her team struggle, 5 games of the WNBA experiencing a quiet, almost palpable crisis. The league, normally buzzing with her electrifying presence, watched its viewership plummet by a staggering 55% during her absence. It was a stark, undeniable truth laid bare. The WNBA's golden goose was missing, and the entire ecosystem, from network executives to casual fans, felt the gaping void. The quiet desperation among league officials was almost tangible. They desperately needed their brightest star back.
The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be us. No Jonquel Jones, but the Indiana Fever handled business. 102-88. We finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22.
Then came Saturday, and with it, her explosive return. This wasn't a timid comeback. She detonated back onto the scene like a lightning bolt, striking a firework factory, a force of nature unleashed. The woman was on a mission, and that mission had Natasha Cloud's name and the Liberty's perfect record emblazoned across it in blazing letters. From the opening tip, a palpable electricity, almost a hum, crackled through the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Liberty, true to their dominant form, burst out to an early 17-6 lead, moving the ball with the practiced precision and self-assuredness of champions who had seemingly forgotten what losing felt like.
And are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Caitlin Clark put on the show, dropped 25 in the first half. Then she was diamonded here, diamonded there. They scored over 100 points first time in the season, and they gave New York Liberty their first L. Take that L, go back to the Hudson River, and go back to New York with that L. You know what I'm saying? And I can't stand Sabrina. I'm going to call her Sabrina, I flop you. Because all she does is flop. I can't stand Sabrina Ionescu. She's a flopping machine. I'm glad she's taking that L today. Caitlin Clark, 32 points, 7 for 14 from 3. That's 50%. 8 rebounds, 9 assists. She almost had a double-double, almost close to a triple.
For a fleeting, anxious moment, a ripple of doubt might have crossed the minds of Fever fans. Could their returning hero truly make an immediate, impactful difference after such a debilitating layoff? But then, with just over 3 minutes left in the first quarter, something shifted. A pivotal three-point play was converted, and you could almost see a spark ignite in her eyes. A familiar, fiery determination taking hold, signaling that the tide was about to turn. The arena, which had been holding its breath, began to stir, sensing a shift, a challenge being laid down. What transpired next would erase all doubt.
Caitlin Clark, 9 points in 20 or 38 seconds. Oh my goodness. Came back to back logo threes. For a minute, man, I told the chat, call the cops on Caitlin Clark for logo abuse. Oh my goodness, man. She was killing it.
What followed was a performance instantly etched into basketball history, a symphony of audacious shots played out in real time, defying logic and physics. In a breathtaking span of just 38 seconds, she unleashed 3 consecutive three-pointers from distances that would make GPS systems envious: 33 feet, 27 feet, and an almost unbelievable 31 feet. Each one found nothing but net, the crisp swish echoing through the arena like a thunderclap, each shot more improbable than the last. The crowd erupted into a deafening roar, a visceral explosion of disbelief and elation, and suddenly, impossibly, the game was tied at 24. This wasn't merely basketball, it was her emphatic declaration to the world, a defiant roar.
The Indiana Fever. That is Fever basketball at its finest. Fever ball at its finest. As a team, by the way, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The least turnovers the Fever have had in a game as a team since
she was back. Her injury had not dulled her edge, and she had some deeply personal, unfinished business to address. She was shooting from distances that challenged the very definition of a good shot, and yet every single attempt seemed destined to fall, dropping like autumn leaves. By halftime, she had amassed an astonishing 25 points, including 6 three-pointers, her highest single half total in her entire professional career. The Fever, against all pre-game expectations, held a surprising 53-50 lead, and you could practically see the concern creeping into the Liberty's eyes like shadows lengthening at dusk, reflecting the dawning realization that this was not the script they had meticulously written for their perfect, unblemished season. The narrative was being rewritten, shot by impossible shot.
What? 3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different. She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed.
The third quarter saw the Liberty make one last desperate surge, opening with a brief 9-0 run that momentarily restored their fading confidence and hinted at a return to their dominant form. But she and the Fever responded with the basketball equivalent of a force of nature, a crushing, demoralizing 19-0 run that left the Liberty looking utterly lost, scrambling to find the basket as if navigating a perplexing maze. Every single time New York tried to mount a comeback, to regain any semblance of control, she had an immediate, decisive answer, pulling another three-pointer from her seemingly bottomless bag of tricks like a master magician with an endless supply of rabbits. It was an unstoppable, relentless display of individual brilliance and team synergy. And through it all, Natasha Cloud was there, helplessly trying to guard the unguardable, attempting to stop a force of nature with the basketball equivalent of an umbrella in a hurricane. The irony was palpable, almost deliciously cruel. The very player who had stripped her hopes away in their last meeting was now a frontline witness to her systematically dismantling her team's perfect record. There was nothing Cloud nor any of her teammates could do. It was the ultimate unvarnished vindication playing out in real time.
For one of the best and most elite performances we have ever seen from Caitlin Clark. Now, I got to remind everybody about this. Caitlin Clark is coming off an injury, bro. What we seen today was greatness. This was similar to the Michael Jordan flu game. I mean, it's up there type deal, bro. Caitlin Clark just handed the New York Liberty the ass whooping of a lifetime. And what's crazy about all of this is that the referees couldn't even save them. See, last time the referees was able to save New York and they walked away with the victory. The game was so far out of reach, the referees had to just...
When the final buzzer pierced the celebratory roar, the scoreboard confirmed the unthinkable, 102-88. She finished with a sensational 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 three-pointers, tying her career high. But those impressive numbers, as remarkable as they were, only told part of the story. This was about more than statistics. It was about making an undeniable statement, settling a personal score, and delivering a powerful, indelible reminder. The Fever, for their part, shattered a franchise record with 17 made three-pointers on nearly 49% shooting from beyond the arc. They reached triple digits for the first time all season, and they had, against all odds and expectations, handed the mighty Liberty their very first loss.
Natasha Cloud's Linsanity run is over. As I said, her player of the week, the player of the week curse. We saw it happen to Kelsey Mitchell as well till the end of that game where she was so clutch. But her Linsanity runs over. I got a DM from somebody going, Natasha Cloud's great. What are you talking about her Linsanity run? I'm like, it was her Linsanity run. I was like, she can play defense. Not a great offensive player. Forget the referees. The referees. This was apparently a foul. This was apparently a foul on Lexi Hull.
And off. I'm glad that New York got that L. They should have got the L the other game. Now they just got what they deserve. Okay, but Caitlin Clark went off. I'm happy. That is what people pay to see. Do you see the difference when Caitlin Clark is on the floor? She makes the whole offense way better. The offense is better. They're clicking. They're getting to their spots.
Most importantly, they had done it with her leading the charge, a general commanding her troops into an emphatic, unforgettable victory. For the Liberty, this crushing defeat wasn't just a number in the standings. It was a brutal reality check, delivered with a side of humbling truth. Sabrina Ionescu did her valiant best to keep pace with 34 points, and Brianna Stewart added 24. But it simply wasn't enough to withstand the tornado that had swept through Indianapolis. They had entered the game as the WNBA's last unbeaten team, and they left with their perfect record in tatters and their confidence visibly shaken. And as for Natasha Cloud, any reign of defensive invincibility she might have perceived was definitively ended that night, proving that even the most formidable defenders can be overwhelmed by a talent destined for undisputed greatness.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever, who looked like a completely different team, as Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the...
The ripple effects of this game extended far, far beyond the final score. Her triumphant return ignited interest in the WNBA in ways that league executives could only dream of, proving her status as an unparalleled force. Social media exploded with highlights, passionate debates, and unbridled celebrations. Ticket prices for future Fever games skyrocketed by an astounding 366% in the immediate aftermath, creating unprecedented demand. Suddenly, everyone, from diehard fans to casual observers, was talking about women's basketball again. The league that had watched its ratings significantly decline during her absence was reminded, in the most spectacular and undeniable way possible, why she is considered the most popular athlete in America by the WNBA commissioner herself. This wasn't merely incidental, it was deeply systemic. The effect she generates has driven the Fever to become the first WNBA team with 1 million social media followers on any platform. Their merchandise sales surged so dramatically that the team's store reportedly faced an audit for suspicious revenue spikes. A truly wild scenario.
This is what people pay to see, guys. That's why the TV ratings are high when she's on TV. She's fun to watch. Girls balling out back-to-back threes from the logos, man. She was going off tonight. And I was so glad that she's out there having fun, bro. Like, she was going off, bro.
Ticket prices for her games routinely exceed $600, with courtside seats reportedly reselling for a jaw-dropping $25,000. Her presence alone contributed an estimated $36.5 million to Indianapolis's economy in 2024 alone, a staggering testament to her economic power. When she plays, the WNBA isn't just relevant, it's a bona fide cultural event. During her injury absence, nationally televised Fever games averaged just 847,000 100,000 viewers, a 53% drop from her pre-injury average of 1.8 million. Her return against the Liberty drew a staggering 2.7 million viewers on ABC, making it the third most watched WNBA game of the season. Her appeal lies in her remarkable ability to blend old school grit with new school flair. Her audacious logo threes and no-look passes cater to highlight reel obsessives, while her unapologetic competitiveness, evidenced by her fiery reaction to defensive physicality, resonates deeply with purists. This unique duality has cultivated a fan base that spans generations. Families pack arenas to witness her play, and WNBA engagement per post is reportedly 16 times higher than the NBA's when she's on the court. The arena's noise levels hit an incredible 116 dB during her introductions, louder than most NFL stadiums. She isn't just attracting fans, she's cultivating a powerful, undeniable movement that reshapes the very landscape of professional sports.
It was at a point where she pulled from the logo and her and Stewart were just laughing because it was just that unbelievable. I told y'all, face of the league.
And much to the credit of Caitlin Clark, this team won a massive.
As the dust settles on this truly incredible performance, one thing remains crystal clear. Her triumphant return to the WNBA isn't merely good news for her team, it's a profound, electrifying jolt of energy for the entire league. This game was a powerful reminder of what makes sports truly special: the drama, the personal narratives, the sheer audacity of athletic brilliance, and the ultimate undeniable power of redemption. It's a perfect example of why they say the best revenge isn't just living well, but absolutely dominating in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. The Liberty's perfect season is irrevocably over. Natasha Cloud learned, perhaps the hard way, that karma indeed has a jump shot, and she, with a display of unparalleled brilliance, reminded everyone, absolutely everyone, why she is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most electrifying player in women's basketball right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen has not just returned, she has triumphantly reclaimed her throne, and she has made it abundantly clear that she has no intention of ever giving it up.